The story so far. The story starts in a little town, Motorville. The protagonist is Oliver, a young boy, and through an unfortunate series of short events triggered by an evil witch, his mother dies of a heart disease. The tears of this pure-hearted boy lift the curse that was imprisoning a fairy. This fairy convinced Oliver of traveling to another world in order to find and save the counterpart of his mother, telling him that if he saves his mother's counterpart, he can save his real mother. But in order to do this and prevent the destruction of this other world, he has to defeat an evil wizard, Shadar. Oliver goes to this other world and finds new and unique friends through his journey. They teach him new spells and facilitate him new equipment. He helps a lot of people along the way and gets two new human companions and a lot of familiars. Until now, Oliver's job has been to mend the hearts of the broken-hearted through magic, undoing Shadar's evil deeds, and preparing for his eventual final confrontation with Shadar. He has to become a lot stronger in order to surpass the four sages and become one of the strongest wizards in the land. So far, he has traveled through two forests, four cities, and acquired a ship to travel to new lands and islands, opening a whole world of new possibilities. The ship is attacked by Shatar, and the protagonists end up casting away in an island full of fairies. This is a game that feels huge since the very beginning. You can immediately tell the level of quality and the amount of effort that was put into this game, with its superb animation and design by Studio Ghibli and the technical designs, programming, and overall hard work of the Level 5 in collaboration with Joe Hisashi, who created a masterful score. In my first 20 hours of experiencing this game, I explored a great variety of elements the game has to offer, from the beautiful animation and music to the basic mechanics of the game. In theory, the game has so much to offer that it should be overwhelming, but it turned out to be really natural, creating a balance in which it takes its time to present each of its elements and favoring the more casual players, in other words, taking it easy in the first few hours. Nonetheless, it has so much to offer when it comes to the lore of the game, but the main story leaves those elements in the background, only to be seen by the people who are really looking for a good read and want to see some beautiful illustrations, like picking up a wonderful fantasy book. It makes me wonder how they could have created a better balance among those elements and the main story. It seems plausible since the beginning is really slow. They could have taken advantage of the slow start and add more charm to each moment by incorporating these elements in the main narrative. In retrospective, the key starting elements are the following. The game starts with an animation establishing a normal setting, and then it integrates the use of magic and traveling between worlds, while in the new world the concept of familiars is brought up and the broken-hearted people, and how we can save them by borrowing parts of the hearts of people that are overflowing with a given quality. Through these basic elements in the next hours we get to explore the possibilities of what we can do with magic and the familiars. The story and mechanics at the start are a little linear, going from point A to point B and repeat. The side quests are really easy in these initial segments and usually don't add much to the overall story. In each new place we learn new magic tricks and acquire new skills, food, and gear, among other battle-related mechanics for the familiars, eventually being able to recruit new familiars. In this initial segment, we can see how complicated it can be to create proper balance between the narrative and the introduction of new game mechanics, like introducing new elements in a natural fashion, but still making it memorable to the audience, in a way that they get used to each game mechanic and get the most of each one of them, and later present challenges that takes these game mechanics to a new level. Since it is a really ambitious RPG, it is to some extent easy to see areas of opportunity, but since there are so many variables in play, it's hard to see the whole picture with just the first few hours of gameplay. These are some of the things that could have been handled better in this initial phase of the game. in order to have a better game feel. Introducing the familiar's recruitment mechanic earlier, integrating more elements of the fictional book into the main story, removing the affinity mechanic or modifying it to be more inclusive because it limits, in some ways, the optimal usage of familiars. The metamorphosis slash evolution mechanic resets the level of the familiars, which makes an already slow start even slower, in addition to the whole aspect of acquiring new familiars later in the game and training over and over again. The familiars have different chances of joining the group, and the system to add them to the group isn't as intuitive as other games with similar mechanics. It uses a game mechanic like Dragon Quest, but adding new elements that only slow the process and add more room for error. The gems to the trigger the metamorphosis, at least in this early game, can only be obtained by random drops, again slowing the whole process of training your familiars. The battle system is a combination of Digimon World with the whole giving orders mechanic and the Tales of series with the action taking place in real time and the freedom of movement, with the familiars recruitment mechanic being really similar to Dragon Quest, in which the familiars are so amazed with your strength that they want to join your party. At the beginning, the combination of these mechanics doesn't feel as natural or satisfying, and evidently repetitive since you have to grind to reach the necessary levels to progress in the story. Nonetheless, when the third human party member joins the group and we can start exploring the world, the combat acquires a new level of depth, since there are many more options and possible combinations at our disposal. Anyway, this is all for part 1. Let me know in the comments if you want to see the continuation of this journey. Have a nice day.